Hey Aquarius, what's going on? What I'm seeing happening right now is that there is a new chapter that's opening up. It looks like it is connected with a new opportunity as well, but there can be some anxiety that's kind of connected with this too, or it can be something that you feel like you have a lot going on as far as the stuff in your head and what it is that you're thinking about. We are starting off with the Fool, your new chapter. Some of you can feel like you kind of have to face your fears a little bit here. Because this can be something that feels a little bit... If you're secure within yourself or like you're working on that, I think this is going to be easier. But if you put your security in your environment staying exactly the same, then this can be something that really feels like a big shakeup for you. When we have Uranus, it's connected with a sense of growth and expansion and adventure and us embracing the new energy. And for some of us, because it really depends on the person, right? If you are looking around at your life and you're like, I feel restless, or things are kind of boring, or like I want this to change so badly, it's like when this new energy comes through, you feel excited about it. But for other people, even though you may not be in maybe the most ideal situations, we can cling to it because of the familiarity and the comfort of it. And so it can feel more challenging to embrace this energy in a way that you feel maybe like confident or maybe even like willing to move through. So after the Fool, we have Page of Wands. So this is going to connect you with somewhere that you want to be, but you're going to have to take a chance in order to do that, which means that it can be something where if you make this call and you decide to do this, there can be some feeling of finality to it. And that can be something that feels like you're really going to have to believe in yourself and the choice that you're making, and you're going to have to be decisive with this. And if you feel insecure within the choices that you make, this can feel challenging. Because some of you too, sorry about the noise, guys. Some of you too, I'm seeing something that has to be done in order for this to take off in the way that you want it to. It's like if you want to be here badly enough, then you're gonna have to do what this requires, because I'm seeing work definitely have to be put in for this. But it can be something where in your heart and in your soul you'd feel really connected with this, and if you were feeling brave, this really is the direction that you would go in, because you can feel very much like you're being called this way. But there's a bit of a learning curve with this. Feels like you get sort of put into a situation, if this is something you embrace, you get put into a situation where you're going to have to figure out how to move through it. Because you may not know firsthand from prior experience. So this can be something where you kind of have to figure it out as you go. Which, if you're in the mindset to be willing to do things that way, I don't really see this be so much of an issue, or there be so much resistance to it. But yeah, there can be a feeling of vulnerability here. And I think this brings up your relationship with your self-trust. Can really highlight that. I think that the only reason why this would feel, why you would feel vulnerable doing this is because of heart chakra work that's being done, meaning if you're not in a place where your heart chakra is totally open, this can be something that you feel intimidated by. It can feel triggering, and even though you can know that you want to do this, this can be difficult for your ego. It can feel challenging for your ego. So even though from a soul perspective, it's very obvious and very clear what to do here, as far as what's going on with your ego, that can kind of be another story, because you can actually feel like pretty uncomfortable with this, but it feels like it's requiring this of you. It requires some element of vulnerability, and beyond that, decisiveness and trust within your own judgment and what you want to be doing with your life, to be able to guide yourself through this. Because that can also be something too that's required here. You have to be the one leading yourself through this process. And it can mean that you kind of have to face some challenging things in maybe a different way. Meaning you've been going through a bit of an obstacle course here. And because of that, it feels like it's been teaching you new and different ways to problem solve. Yeah, I'm seeing you move through it, because we go from a 5 of Wands to a 6 of Wands. 5 of Wands is going to be the bulk of what it is that we're working through, trying to work something out. And 6 of Wands is when we've successfully done exactly that. I've worked this out. I know where I want to be. I know what I want to be doing. And I really am ready to go for it. But there is still this thing that's connected with you having to be brave and you having to trust yourself, and that you know that this is right for you. And be connected with your own awareness that would be indicating that. That doesn't mean though that it's all going to be downhill, because I'm seeing some other stuff that's going on too, which feels like this is going to be a process where effort is going to need to continuously be put in. However, you can feel like you've figured out something important now about where it is that you want to be and what it is that you want to be doing and what you're going to feel happy with. Truly, genuinely. I'm getting something here about working together and coordinating. Yeah, I'm really getting like the only thing that would stop you is just this stuff going on in your head. And that can be something too where you feel like you're walking a certain way, then you stop, and then you're like, maybe I should turn around here. And it feels like it just comes from a place of you not being clear with yourself. So that can be something that you've been working through when it comes to this. I get that this process is triggering in some way for you, and that can change the way that you show up sometimes. And it can be something that you're gaining awareness of. I wonder too if this is like, if you care about something a lot and it matters to you, there can be a feeling of vulnerability within that when you're connecting with something. And if you're feeling insecure at times, that's when you can start feeling triggered. But I'm getting that if like everybody's working together here, you're going to see things really work out. And it feels like you have been taking a chance, putting your energy into this, and you have been really looking at things and I think evaluating for the most part. It's just about working through all of the stuff that needs to be worked through. And it feels like this is something that it takes energy and it takes effort in order to truly do that. I think there's also some stuff emotionally that you've been processing and going through as well, as it relates to, I think like initially, what you thought your future was going to look like versus what you're finding out about it now. And that can be something that you're sort of like coming to terms with here. Because I'm seeing you making progress with this emotional healing that you're doing, which also is going to lend itself to this intuitive healing that's happening as well, this soul healing that's happening as well. But I am getting something that's connected with, like, I thought that life was going to lead me there, and I'm seeing that I'm actually going to be going to this other place instead. And there's something about reconciling with that. That's part of what's going on here too. And that can also be where some of the resistance comes from. Like, if something is kind of dead and buried and you still haven't let go of it and you still haven't processed that yet, it can be something that sort of holds up the rest of the storyline. But I'm still seeing the things that you want be possible. It just feels like it's in maybe a different way than you initially thought it was going to be. But then at the end of the day, you follow this path, you follow this way, and then you end up loving what develops so much more and feeling so much more connected to it, because it feels more true to you as you actually are, not some sort of mask or projection that wasn't really you to begin with. But I get that this also requires you to step up in ways that you can still be feeling like you're figuring out how to do that. I mean, we're starting off with the Fool and a Page. So you can be like, there are times when I'm just doing what I feel like I need to do here, but I don't always know what I'm doing. I'm learning and I'm making sense of it. And sometimes it takes me a while to connect and to reflect and to understand how to move through things that don't feel like the easiest to move through at times. But I'm getting this, like, I'm seeing you being capable of addressing the things that need to be addressed. It's just like it has to be a different way. There's something about embracing different ways that actually help you resolve things that before could have felt like nearly impossible to figure out. Yet you're capable of it. You just have to think outside of the box. And there is this feeling of vulnerability and a feeling of insecurity that can come up for sure. Because I think that it's like when you're being the real you and you're moving through these processes, there can be this like feeling of vulnerability because you don't have a mask on as you're moving through it. And so it can feel very sensitive and it can feel very triggering. Like your ego can feel very activated. The thing is that I get kind of like the plan of where you were going to go before. It feels like I'm seeing it be connected with a tower, which means that that would not have been in alignment for you. Meaning you would not have been happy with that. That would have been something that you were like, I think that I want this. And then you end up connecting with it and getting there and being there. And then you're like, why do I still feel empty? So I think that that's also something that you can be learning about too. Because you're actually going to feel happy with where you're going now. Because it's not just somebody else's dream that you've internalized or somebody else's advice that you've internalized that wasn't really meant for you and didn't really fit you as you actually are. So it's kind of like a little bit different now, but it's about giving yourself permission to really be yourself and not take on these like projections from other people, really. Even like, you know, people mean well and they give us advice and they tell us what's important within life, and I think you're figuring out like what those things are genuinely for you personally. Because you can feel right now like you're investing in your authenticity and being as truly yourself as possible. And not everything's going to fit that, and you're not going to feel happy with everything. And there can be other people that will be satisfied with things that you can look at and say, that's my personal hell. I don't want that. Even if it's something that we've been spoon-fed, you know, you can get to a point and be like, I I'm recognizing that there's something missing then within that storyline, and I want something that feels wholehearted, like a full body yes to the story that you're playing out. But that means anything that's getting in the way of you truly being yourself, which truly being yourself also means self-realization, self-awareness of what doesn't belong to you. And that can be something that you're in the process of shaking off right now. It's like you got covered in something and you're in this process of purifying yourself, purifying your energy, and like getting it out of your auric field. And as that happens, it illuminates really like what's meant for you. And even though I'm already seeing there be a connection there, like see how the Fool is looking at the Page of Wands? This feels like you actually know already where you want to be. It's just some other stuff that you have to cleanse out of your aura. Other stuff that would influence you in a way where it would make it unclear where you really want to be, and what you really want to be doing, and what you really feel drawn and attracted to, and what you really feel compatible with. It's like when an animal goes in water and then comes out of it and has to shake it all off. You're shaking something off, but it's something that like it doesn't belong in your energetic field. And again, it's something that would kind of make it feel unclear to you. It would sort of like demagnetize the proper things that you're connected with. Well, it would demagnetize your realization of those things, your understanding of those things. Coming back to this thing again about like giving yourself permission to play out your storyline in the way that you want to. There can also be a fear of judgment as well. That can be part of it too, where it's like when you were like wearing those other things on top of like who you truly are, maybe it was like more acceptable. And now that you're kind of peeling back the layers, there can be this feeling of like, if I'm judged, I'm going to be judged like as I actually am. And I feel uncomfortable with that. So this is something too. That's why this feels vulnerable. But that's what's happening. The bulk of what you're going through right now is that thing of like shaking everything off. That's not you right now. Because there has been stuff that's been layered on top and you're taking all of that off now. And what's going to happen is that when you get to the center, everything is going to feel very clear. What you want, where you want to be, what you want to be doing, who you want to be with, all of these things, how you want to be living your life, or all of these things are going to become very clear to you. But for some of you, I get like you already know about a lot of this. I think that you're just still in the process of maybe like validating that for yourself, because you can have some strong feelings about stuff, but then you can question, do I really know? Do I really know for myself? Like, can I really trust these feelings that I have, this awareness that I have? Is my intuition clear? Am I on point with this? And so that can be kind of another version of the way that this works for you as well. So you're doing shadow work, you're doing ego work as well, moving through this. It's not easy, but it's worth it, because it brings you to a place where you really feel like you are living your life and not wasting it away. Going off on tangents that don't really matter to you. So this is something that it allows you to connect with your life in meaningful ways, deeply. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.